it was almost 2 decades and no answers, no help. And all I got was, there's no cure for what you have. There was just these things. And I was like, no, this isn't going to work. And I quit my job and I just nosedived into what I already knew.
Welcome to the Wellnest Podcast. I am your co-host, Michelle Magnetti, and I am here with Campbell Ritchie. And this is the podcast where we invite you to come along on this transformational journey with us. We talk about all sorts of things, from mental health to gut health to personal development to just messing around and telling stories. And today we are joined by Sandy Molinare, who is going to talk us through her journey from being in the pharmaceutical world to developing some kind of illnesses and ailments, and finding that she didn't get the answers from the industry that she was supporting and that she was in, and in turn shifted to a different practice in a holistic health journey, and really kind of talking about what does that mean and how can we evolve and adapt into some of those practices as well. And it's something that I think we can all resonate with. I think that we all understand that there are so many great things in nature that can help us and keep us healthy. And we just forget about those things because there are so many commercials and ads and things like that are constantly in front of our faces. Mm-hmm. And so I would love to dive into that, Sandy, and just kind of talk a little bit about how you can share a little bit more about your background, but from what I understand, you had a career in the pharmaceutical sales industry and also medical marketing. And then I guess you noticed maybe that those weren't serving you in some of the things that you were experiencing and feeling. So can you talk a little bit about that, and maybe you'll correct my language and things that I've used throughout this.
You're doing a great job. No, you're doing a great job. Currently, I'm a mom and a wife, but professionally, I'm a holistic and functional nutritional health coach, which means I work on you inside and out, on your body, your lifestyle, your food, your diet, your nutrition. And I came by this the old-fashioned way: hardship and destruction and tribulation and illness and all of the unbelievable things that can happen to a human in a little lifetime. And so my deepest passion is taking care and nurturing other humans. I think that everybody deserves love and second chances and hope. And a lot of times in this world, we are hard on ourselves. We don't give enough grace. We don't trust our instincts, and we get off track. And when that happens, we tend to go to resources like medicine, bad habits, drugs, alcohol, other dopamine kicks, and we get ourselves in a heap of trouble, and we don't really know how to get ourselves out. And from the youngest age I can remember, I used to think when I would say my prayers at night, like, God, just somehow give a light to my eyes so that when I look at people in the eyes or when I smile, they feel the light, they feel love, they feel empowered. And I've always wanted to give that. I just didn't know that I was going to be tried and challenged and just thrown everything at me so that I can go through this mess so that I could be empathetic and turn my mess into my message. It took a long time. I have a long journey on how I got here. I'm happy to share details, but that's a little bit of who I am now. A little bit of background. Around the age of 14, I started having unbelievably, horribly weird symptoms for a young teenager. Kidney problems, kidney infections, kidney stones, ovarian cysts, bleeding, uncontrollable skin rashes, just gut issues, and living in a small town and going to clinics and ending up in ERs and passing out at school and no one being able to tell you what's wrong. And this happened all through the rest of my teens, all through my 20s. I would wake up on the campus bus at the University of Texas and I'd been passed out for 3 hours and don't know why. And despite family medicine, despite urologists, nephrologists, immunologists, allergists. No one could ever tell me what was going on. And as the cascade of symptoms kept getting more and more complicated, and in the next step in my 20s, I was diagnosed with narcolepsy. I was like, narcolepsy? How in the wild world like do you end up with narcolepsy? But the scariest thing through all of this is the medications that they would give you. And they would start with something and it wouldn't work. And then they would get more aggressive, more aggressive, more aggressive. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to start reading these package inserts because I really love the science. And I've always loved the science, but I've had more of an outgoing sales personality. And so through knowing some friends in the pharmaceutical industry, I took that route. And I mean, it was fun. It made great money. I met some amazing doctors, amazing people. But during training or during the product launch, I would ask questions. And then I would get asked off to the side, stop asking so many questions. And if a doctor asks you that question, deter them. Don't answer that. And then when I would get pushback from old school doctors about certain things, I would start to question, well, is this really necessary? What would you do? What is the first line of defense for a baby for this, And things just started not aligning.
Yeah.
And I remember I had a really great relationship with an R&D guy who would come and do speaker events for me. And he would share with me that no one asks the questions that you do and no one cares. I was like, well, why was the study 1,257 people, but we only published it with 297? He was like, well, 1,000 of them had really adverse symptoms. It won't help our numbers. And that's when I was so sick. I had so many health issues. I was like, what am I doing? I'm going to go and help doctors. I think doctors are where it's at. Then I went and worked with doctors, and I think that they're overworked and they are manipulated by the pharmaceutical industry, and they are confined to what all of the insurance companies allow them to do. So they can't even think outside the box, and they're not even given the opportunity to do so. It was just demoralizing. And all I saw in these clinics were patients that were suffering pain, inflammation, infertility. The obesity epidemic is something that just wrecks my soul because it's so preventable. And then all of these kids always on antibiotics and always snotty noses and always on ear drops. I don't know. It was just something wasn't resonating, but my health was also declining. And during this time, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, then Sjogren's syndrome. Yeah. Then it was like dry eye and dry mouth. I had no saliva and my eyes were so dry. I had these weird line rashes all throughout my body created from staph, but no staph infection, like a wound. So that didn't make sense. I had complete adrenal failure. They tried to put me on antipsychotics because they thought I was crazy. And then, you don't take these medications. They put me on ciprofloxacin, which is a 4th generation 4-quinolone strong antibiotic for almost 9 months. And as soon as I was done with that, full-blown lupus. So at this point, I'm 32. I have 2 babies. They're 18 months apart. I had the worst pregnancies. I had such bad kidney stones and kidney infections during my pregnancies. They wanted to do stents and risk my child. I had horrific C-section experiences because they would not let me deliver because of all of my other issues. And I had infections in both my uterus, and I had to keep my wound open for 3 months. I mean, I was constipated for almost 17 days and then hospitalized for that. I had multiple surgeries and procedures. I mean, I could go on and on. Long story short,
Wow.
It was almost 2 decades and no answers, no help. And all I got was, there's no cure for what you have. Your kidneys might make it to the age of 47. Dialysis will be in your future. Possible kidney, I mean, I didn't even want to think about kidney donor, but there was just these things. And I was like, no, this isn't going to work. And I quit my job and I just nosedived into what I already knew. I already knew about organic food. I already knew about deodorant and skin products. And I'd already been on this path, right, of clean health products in the home. And I love the science. And so I nosedived and read countless books and resources. I found an amazing functional medicine doctor here in Austin. And around me, what really kept me inspired was my mother-in-law, who was my best friend and soulmate, got diagnosed with ALS. my sister-in-law and sister got diagnosed with Lyme and horrible co-infections. And it just, everyone around me was just sick. My dad had congestive heart failure. I knew something had to change. And in 3 years, I reversed everything. And I have been 100% ever since. Everything that was incurable.
I've watched this whole thing happen. And she's seen it happen to me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how do you start? Yeah. How do you start? Where do you start? How do you know?
You just start. You trust your instinct. You know, you get rid of first everything synthetic. Medications, chemicals in your food, chemicals in your products at home. You just get rid of all of it. And you start with supplementing, you start rebuilding, right? And, you know, you find out what things are, there's so many resources. The books that have been out there. I mean, I changed my diet dramatically because I'm very, very disciplined. A lot of people are not. So a lot of people a lot of my clients have to take baby steps, but I was at this point so done. I mean, I gave up all gluten, corn, soy, all seed oils, all nightshades, all legumes, everything. And I just was real strict with my diet and my lifestyle for a long time. And I learned to rest, and it wasn't easy at all. Like killing parasites, getting rid of the toxic mold, moving houses. Yeah. There was a lot to it. But
I've learned so much from you, Sandy. Like when I think about what you're saying right now, I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. Oh yeah, that was because of Sandy. Yeah, I did that. Like that was because of Sandy. This woman put me on a freaking protocol when I got cancer and was like, oh, no. Here's your laundry list. This is what you're going to do. And I literally followed it verbatim. And I still do now. Like I'll send her screenshots of the fridge or my vitamin cabinet or whatever. And she's like, I'm so proud of you. It's like, I was already there. I know I am a good student. I mean, I was already there, but you know what was the best part about it was being on that journey with her whilst she was also suffering. We could suffer together and support each other. I think when you have others to support you, it is a lot easier. And saying about like getting rid of everything, I'm in the process of doing that with Drew, and this because the food is just diabolical. I mean, you both know that I'm working with the Making America Healthy Again project, making it fun for kids to look at those things and say, look, this is why we can't have this, because you've seen how mum was when you were a kid.
The apps are so helpful.
I know, they're
and
so
my
helpful.
daughter and all of her friends have it, you know, but Emma will hide things in her backpack because she knows she can't have it. And so a lot of people will mom shame me. Like, you're not letting your child live her life. I'm like, no, I'm trying to help her live her life.
Yeah. Not become impotent.
Right. Yeah. Or infertile.
Infertile. Yeah. Sorry, is impotent the wrong word? Is impotent the wrong word?
That's for men.
Yeah, I mean, that probably happens too.
So, but it does. Men's sperm count is down lower. It's really the men causing the infertility right now than the women. But you hit on something that I want to say is, you know, it helps to have someone like, where do you start? That was a good question, Michelle, because I do think having a functional medicine doctor who looked at my body and said, these are the things that are not aligned, and this is how we realign it. And having him, I mean, he was a godsend for me. And then having people in your life that are suffering too, but on their same path, who can relate and be empathetic. Yeah. Like my sister-in-law was a lifeline for me every day. When you meet other people who are like, oh my God, I've been through this too. And, you know, and then they're on board, like everything that Cam went through. And the struggles bring you together, but they also help you elevate. They help you get past it, get through it and get past it. So I do think if anyone, that's where you should start, is find a practitioner that can spend time with you, listen to what you have to say, and help you be a partner with you through it.
Yeah, and I think
people do that. Sorry to cut you off, Michelle. Could people come to you, Sandy, to do that? Is that something that you offer as a service?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Interesting. So do I send you a check now, or that's a lot? That's a lot
of debt, kiddo.
I am in a lot of debt. Holy crap.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I think the three of us, kind of with our backgrounds in health and wellness, and I am not nearly on the same stratosphere as the two of you, and I would love to get there, But I think
And you will.
saying functional doctor and things like that to us, we know what that means. But if somebody's tuning in for the first time and they're like, my gosh, I have had these issues and I've had that, nobody can figure it out. But what is a functional doctor? Can you explain what that means?
So there's functional and there's naturopath, meaning they're not an MD or DO. They didn't go to medical school. So they're not trained in medicine. They cannot prescribe, but they are trained in the body. So a lot of times their background is chiropractic, kinesiology. There's multiple, there's naturopath, there's nutrition, dietitian. There's a lot of different paths. So, and a lot of times that will say integrative functional health. What that really means is they're treating the whole body, right? They're not treating that symptom. They're going to try to uncover and identify what's holding you back or what's harming you, reverse and remove that, and then give you the tools to rebuild.
So cool.
That makes sense. Well, and just to kind of go on that same thread a little bit. So again, I'm learning more and more. I've been interested, similar to kind of what you said, in clean health, clean products. My kids give my husband and I a hard time because all of their friends have all of this stuff in their pantries and we don't have any of that stuff.
Yes.
Our food sucks. I give no all of this stuff. Yes. And now my older one.
daily struggle.
I know, truly. My older child is starting to really understand, okay, all of my friends are sick all of the time or have injuries all of the time. And I see why, even though I don't love it, I see why you fed us and treated us and gave us products. You know, we're big into gut health in my house.
Yes.
And they don't love having to take supplements, but they see what it's doing to them. But at the same time, we are not perfect. And by any stretch, and as I think of other people maybe who are in kind of the stage or maybe developing into the stage that I'm personally in, we're busy. We are at sporting events all weekend long. We are not home. We may pack a lunch, but then they win their game and now we're starving again. So how do you work in with a healthful mind so you don't set yourself back by going to a fast food restaurant or whatever the case may be? Like, how do you work it into a busy schedule is the question.
That's every mama's question.
Can I say what you do? Can I say one thing that you do, Sandy?
God.
Okay. So when we go to, what's that really cool Mexican place
over here for a second?
What's that amazing Mexican restaurant we go to by the house?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Okay.
It's El Rancho.
Okay, so Sandy takes her own chips. She takes her own, whatever she needs to bring, she'll bring it. And I have never known anyone else other than myself to do this.
I'll bring my own olive oil, my own salt, my
own
chips,
avocado, my own chips.
My own monk fruit sweetener.
Yeah,
no, but
literally.
I do that. But one of the things that I do, Michelle, is I have prep days where, Sunday, Monday is grocery shopping, cleaning and prepping food so that things are easy to grab and go. I'll cook a lot of something healthy in advance so that just hold off kids when we get home. We pack healthy snacks, but I also live with the kids an 80-20 rule. If 80% of the time we're at home and we're doing our best, 20% of the time we're gonna get knocked off track. It is realistic. Yeah. And so, especially if they have sleepovers, I have to feel guilty for pushing all of my stuff onto friends. But they, no one ever empties my snack drawer. I'll tell you that. It's okay. My kids are way more educated than they realize. And just last night, even my daughter on her way to volleyball practice said, I'm so glad my mom's a nutritionist. I know everything. Like, I know what's good. I know what to use. Like, you feel empowered. And when you see positive results, something that negatively you experience, then it encourages more positive decisions. But sometimes you have to give yourself grace and say no to Chick-fil-A and no to Cane's, but let's find something in between, and you don't always win as a mom, but they know when they get home, they're going to take a pound of probiotics and charcoal. And they know, they'll see the sky. They're like, oh, it's a full moon. We're treating for parasites today.
So much. And just the relatability of the 80-20 rule, because if you're like, nope, 100% of the time we're good, Yeah. I feel like people will be like, and I'm out. Like, I'm not listening to this. And you're real.
You've
And
got
I
to be
feel like the
realistic.
80-20 rule, I mean, that's perfect because you can control what you can control in situations where you can't, or maybe you just don't want to this, very brief time. You can give yourself grace for that. But
Listen,
you know that you're going to,
we are exposed to so many toxins as we breathe, drive our cars, go into grocery stores, drink water. So there's no way we're going to be 100% ever.
Yeah.
So the best thing that you can do is give yourself grace in those moments and do the best that you can when you can. If you have a goal and a plan, follow through. If you don't, do the best that you can in that moment.
Yeah. You will start to notice when you do implement these little small baby changes that you will start to want to eat less things that don't make your body feel good. Like, Michelle, what happened to me literally 2 weeks ago? I had a Sandy, I had a meltdown. I was like, I am going to jump out of the window because I cannot take what this is doing to my body. And I said to Drew, I was like, I don't know what's happening to me. Like, I'm having a meltdown. Like, I was horrible. And he looked at me, he was like, honey, but what happened? I went, I think it was the donuts. And he was like, oh my God, this is from donuts. And I was like,
I know.
Yeah, it's a
when
drug.
When your body's less toxic, it's easier for you to become more sensitive. It's harder to be sensitive to everything when you're so toxic. It's so, I'm on vacation, I'm like, I'm going to eat corn, darn it. And then I'll have eczema all over my face.
Yeah, your body's like,
Yeah. Oh, you think you know best again? Yes. Okay, let's do it. Let's do a do-over again, just to remind you. Yeah. I mean, I think Drew was so shocked. He was so shocked.
There are people who say, oh, I can eat anything and it's not bothering me. I'm like, yes, it is. It's just bothering you on the inside and it hasn't manifested yet.
Yeah, 100%.
A toxin is a toxin. And all toxins have to be eliminated. So you may have better elimination pathways than someone else, or you may have better toxin storage than someone else. It doesn't mean it's not harming you. And so everybody has to deal with it at some point. That's why we have fat. Fat is our body's storage for toxins.
Yeah.
I have too much insulin. I have too much garbage. I have too many heavy metals. More fat, more fat, more fat. I have too much stress, too much cortisol running through my body. Fat, fat, fat. And so the leaner and healthy you are, your body doesn't put it all into fat. You have quicker reactions.
Yeah, I feel like you're so right in that because when I've been doing hot yoga mostly twice a day, so once in the morning and once at night. And what I've noticed with that, I've always done yoga, but switching it up to hot yoga.
How many times are you doing it?
I'm doing it 2 times now.
Oof.
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much. I love it so much because
I'm having that you can have hair that would allow you to do that twice a day. I
think God is giving me this gift of beautiful hair. Oh gosh, Sandy just fell over.
Now we're good. So I feel like interesting segue, but like, is there a weirdest remedy that you're like, when you say it out loud to people, they look at you as if you have 3 heads?
Yes.
Because if you say things like charcoal and whatever, like, I knew it. I knew it was going to be.
The weirdest remedy, the green coffee enemas.
Oh, the best. The freaking best.
You can put anything.
You have to explain
apple cider vinegar, put some chlorophyll in there, some ginger, peppermint, just irrigate.
Oh my God, we should get the Happy Bum Co lady on. She's one of my girlfriends from Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The green coffee enemas are really there for glutathione production and to detox the liver, but they give you a very nice, gentle colon cleanse as well. But your blood filters through your liver every 3 minutes. So you want to hold this green coffee in to stimulate glutathione production, which is the powerhouse antioxidant, and you get a really good push after green coffee enema and a good cleansing. Be kind of the weirdest.
It's so euphoric, remedy. Though. It's
and there's so many different things you can do enemas with, but then it's direct contact with the colon, where
almost 90% of the microbiome lives, where 97% of your serotonin is made. You really want to take care of that area.
Yeah,
For
your gut
sure,
is
definitely.
very important.
It's so important, and people like don't want to talk about it, and I get it really, but also, why aren't we talking about it? Because it is so important to how you function.
Every woman talks about it a lot one-on-one with me. It's a concern. Constipated, diarrhea, bloating, and gas.
Yep.
It's probably, besides anti-aging or losing weight, it's the second most important thing to them.
Yeah, that's really interesting. When I do a coffee enema, and I haven't done a green coffee enema in a while, but I do remember having quite a euphoric feeling after it. It was just, and they used to do that, actually, very interestingly, they used to do that to men during the war. They would give them coffee enemas because it would stimulate them and give them more energy to go out on the front line again.
I mean, you're absorbing it through your blood.
And it's actually the quickest way to absorb anything in your body is through the anus. Isn't that what they say? Through your beehole.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
The college kids have figured that out.
That's what you guys have got to meet.
Getting out of our topic that we were just talking about, into a recommendation, like what we actually would recommend. If somebody had 5 minutes in their day, they only had 5 minutes, which I would argue there's 24 hours in a day. They have more than 5 minutes. However, if they really truly believe they have only 5 minutes, what one thing would you recommend that they add into their life, bring this holistic health?
That's an interesting question, because 5 minutes goes by really fast, but it's also such a short period of time that people won't even allow themselves to have. I do think it would be different depending on the time of day. If it's 5 minutes and it's first thing in the morning, I think it would be gratitude. I think it would be jotting down things that you are grateful for, or that you need, or that you want to happen that day, something that manifests joy and hope, and putting it on pen to paper. It is life-changing morning habit. If it's 5 minutes midday, I would say take off your shoes and go stand on the ground and get in the sunshine without sunglasses. I think the red light from the sun is very, very important. And I think you should put your feet on the ground. And then if it's 5 minutes at night, I would say turn off your device. I would use that 5 minutes for anything else. Go plug in your device, put it on airplane mode, and do anything else. Go to bed, brush your teeth without it, use the bathroom without it, just disconnect. It's hard to make that first initial disconnect, but if you could.
I agree. 100%.
I feel like those are 3 very workable, very manageable things that people can do.
And those are not like supplements and health, but you have no idea the impact of giving you a little quiet time to connect with yourself or disconnect from the world can have.
Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely.
Tina Turner said
and
that,
it's
actually.
Hard.
Sorry to interrupt, but did you? I posted it today. She was a Buddhist. She chanted Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. She taught me and got me into Buddhism. I still chant it.
Like her actually?
Yes,
or
her
the fact
actually.
that...
Yeah, Tina Turner introduced me. She introduced me to Buddhism, and what a remarkable woman. But she spoke of prayer and meditation, and writing gratitude lists and saying what you're thankful for. And I mean, look at that woman.
Every day on the way to school, the kids and I have to say 3 things we're grateful for. And it could be anything from the sun that day, to the shirt you're wearing, to the food in your belly, to a friend, just anything other than I got to get to school and we're in traffic and the morning routine. And it's hard to think outside of your daily routine, but it's not hard once you just start doing it, because it just fills you with so much good. You want to do it again and again.
So Sandy, you have talked about, how you have evolved into holistic health. You referenced your business, The Lifted Veil. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, and maybe a client success story that you can share so that people can kind of understand a little bit more about who you are and what you're doing in addition to your background?
Yes. LiftedVeil.com is the name of my nutrition health coaching practice. Lifted Veil Wellness is really what it is. I am a nutritional health coach and I work with you one-on-one. So you come to me and you tell me all your ailments, your issues, your concerns, your fears, what's bothering you, mental, physical, environmental. And I listen and we go through a little bit of your health history. And then we come up with a plan that's very tailored to you. Every single person is very unique, and we have very specific bio-individual needs at different stages in our life. And I try to work a plan that you can be attainable for you, that you can actually incorporate into your daily life. So we can do one-on-one sessions, we can do a group session if you want to bring in a few friends because everyone wants to work on their hormones in their 40s, or you want to lose weight as a group, or do a parasite cleanse or a fast. So there's multiple different ways that I work with you. The key is just figuring out what that path is so that you can do the work so that you can have success. I will help you. I'll be accountable. I will lead you, guide you. We will alter things along the way to make sure it's personalized, individualized, but it's really up to the client to do the work.
Makes sense. And, like we talked about before, people being busy and the whole process can seem overwhelming. And what I love about what you've talked about is you're able to make it relatable and break it down in a way that people can feel like they can do this.
Absolutely. It's hard for me to know what you don't know. When you have a mind and a lifestyle that's filled with all of this, how to squeeze it down to here. So it takes a while for you to figure out where you are in your process and how I can help you get further along or educate you or change it up. And so it takes multiple consultations and visits and meetings together.
So I think a lot of people suffer in silence. So we touched on this, and they don't know what questions to ask their doctor, or they don't know what questions to ask you. Can you share a little bit, maybe a client success story or two, just to kind of put it into terms that people can understand, and they don't have to suffer in silence anymore. They can actually feel good. Feeling good is normal. Not feeling good is not.
It's crazy how we have become to accept that as we age, things start to break down and we feel worse and we're sluggish and we're tired and we're falling apart. And that's part of the aging process, but it's not. I mean, it is in the environment that we lived on and how we've been treating our bodies, but there's a glorious path around this. And it's not without its trials and tribulations and bumps along the way, but there's a path for everyone. But clients say from all ages. I mean, I've had clients down from 7 years old to 70, and the success stories vary because someone just needs they have an acute problem, right? So let's just knock that out. That's bothering you. And when something comes along that's more, interfering of your life, then we'll work on that. But there's one success story that was really scary, kind of a big one to take on, was a young man in his early 20s who lifetime since birth, severe GERD, acid reflux. He even had to have a heart surgery because he had a heart condition, and he just could not enjoy his life. Food, alcohol, being young, those are part of being in your 20s, and he was just debilitated. And they wanted to do yet another surgery and put him on all of these medications, and he was just absolutely miserable. And we changed his diet. We took him off all medications and supplemented with natural herbs and natural vitamins. I mean, he miraculously cured so fast. From birth to early 20s of this type of reflux in under 3 months. And not only that, but it was reversing the damage. And he would celebrate that he could go out and have a drink or two. It looked different, right? There's certain things he can't eat, certain things he can't drink, but he can enjoy his life again. And then he got on the path that just led to wanting to know more about his health and elevating it and doing cleanses and paying attention to his whole body. That was just the beginning. And now has his own resources and he can take care of himself and make his own good decisions. And it's an amazing story.
It is an amazing story. And it's amazing that in 3 months, using nature essentially, and he's feeling better. He lives a pretty normal life. And like you said, there's going to be things he can't eat. There's things I can't eat, that's, I think a lot of people maybe have some sensitivities to certain things, but that's amazing. What an incredible story.
And the improvement can sometimes happen almost immediately, when you start removing the inflammatory toxin or thing that you're putting in your body, and your body starts healing along the way. And some people have rapid recovery, some are slower. Sometimes it takes longer to identify what that, negative inflammatory compound is, food or toxin. But the more you understand and listen to your body, the more you start to learn how to make those adaptations along the way. And I mean, it's interesting. I'll work with a client, we'll be 3 months into the process, and they'll tell me something that would be profoundly important for me to know at the beginning that they never cared. And I'm like,
they just don't know.
Let's start there. And then the progress happens, right? It's hard for people even to know because we suffer in silence. You don't even know what symptom is your worst symptom sometimes because at this point you're just too tired to even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's
or you're used to feeling normal, or you're used to not feeling good, and that's just your normal.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
that's your default.
You don't know that something is wrong because you just accepted headaches are a part of your life, or poor sleep is a part of your life, or a stomach ache is part of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And especially mothers, because we are taking care of the children and the husbands and the home. We put ourselves on the back burner. But let me tell you, if you change the woman, you change your husband and you change your kids. So I'm coming after you because you are the matriarch. And from you comes all the nurturing and the healing, and it has to start with you.
100%.
You have to put yourself as a priority. You have to know that you can thrive and you can be energetic and your moods can be happy and stable. You can sleep well. You don't have to be bloated and lethargic. You can look good in a swimsuit.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes, to it all.
Amen.
Absolutely. And can you tell us, where can we find you? So I guess before you tell me that, do you work with people all over the place, or do you work with people in one central location?
Because I do a lot of my consultations over the phone or a Zoom, I can work with people all over. I have clients in Colorado, California, Dallas. I'm in Austin. Sometimes the people in Austin have the benefit of, I'll come clean out your pantry. I can meet you at the grocery store. I can clean out your fridge. I love those days. I'm an OCD freak, so those are kind of fun. But I just try to make it convenient, because if it's not convenient and I'm not accessible, it won't work.
Yeah, absolutely.
So phone and email, there'll be a calendar on my website. You can make your own appointment.
Tell us your website.
It's liftedveil.com.
And that's Lifted Veil, Veil?
Yep.
Okay, great.
I love the name.
And so they can find you. Yeah, I know.
The veil.
It's so poignant.
It's one of my favorite
It's
songs that we used to sing.
When I graduated from this program and was coming out with, I was 7 years into my healing journey and COVID happened, and you want to launch your website and do all of these things during this time, and you're like, oh gosh, you get scared because everyone talked about natural health or supplements or sunshine. We're getting canceled. And so it's so nice to be free and to be out there and to share this beautiful knowledge.
Listen, I'm putting down our cancelling as being a badge of honor at this point. Like, seriously. I seriously think that now. Like, I am not ashamed of it anymore. It's like, how many times have you been cancelled? Like, we shouldn't be like that, but you know what? It's a badge of honor now. I really don't care anymore.
Of ivermectin before COVID hit. And I'm like, wait a minute, why are we vilifying this? I used it for years.
I've been using it for years too for parasites. I was explaining that to Michelle yesterday.
And I'll go to Mexico without it.
No, exactly.
There were so many things that I became afraid to say, but it's another part of the story.
Yeah. But Lifting the Veil is a beautiful name for the podcast.
It is a beautiful name. It is. And I'm just so deeply honored that we were able to have you on our podcast, and you're able to share your wisdom.
Yeah.
Every single person.
This is just scratching the surface, right? Like,
exactly.
I think you're going to be a recurring guest, Sandy.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, every single person from a newborn or even in utero with their mom to 105 years old can benefit from your knowledge, your wisdom, your advice. And I just really encourage people to check you out,
Thank
liftedveil.com
you.
for sure.
I'd love to hear from anyone.
This is
Yeah,
your
we're gonna have
calling,
you back.
Sandy.
Okay,
This is your
please.
calling, honey.
Well, I'm happy for you guys. Good luck on this journey. This is so fun.
Thank you for joining us. And
Yes.
this is exciting. It's exciting for us as it is for you, I think, to come on. And we're just thankful. And again, you know,
just
for
as
all
you're
of our
launching your website, it's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, if y'all ever
really
need
cool.
help with your health, call me.
Absolutely.
Well, I have you
And
on speed dial anyway.
Yeah.
Y'all
Perfect.
take care. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Kim.
Yes. Thank you. And for all of our people who are listening, like us, subscribe, rate us, comment, all of the things. Wellness Podcast, follow us. And we're just happy that you're here along with us. And thank you again, Sandy. And bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Sandy.
Thank you. Bye, Richard.
Bye.
Bye.